Minister of State John Perry held a press conference in Sligo on the government's 101st day in power to announce the progress made in having breast cancer services restored fully to Sligo General Hospital.
This government is committed to a strong future for Sligo General Hospital, and for this reason a decision has been made as part of the 100-day programme for health to restore the outreach mammography services to Sligo Hospital in the fourth quarter of this year. This will mean that women in Sligo will require follow-up mammography services will no longer need to travel to Galway, and the recruitment of 2 additional radiographers at Galway University Hospital which will facilitate this restoration that's currently underway. I'm also pleased to announce that Sligo Cancer Services will be further strengthened by the recruitment of a second permanent medical oncologist. The position will be advertised in the near future, and it is expected that the appointment will be made by the end of this year. Finally, I can confirm that Sligo will be one of the colonoscopy centres for colorectal cancer screening programme to be launched next year. Cancer arrangements at Sligo General remain under review. However, the health system faces very severe challenges, including a €1 billion reduction in its cash budget this year, a shortage of non-consultant hospital doctors throughout the country, and a €34.5 million health deficit in the West for the first 4 months of this year. The return of the mammography services to Sligo Hospital is crucially an important step as to enhance the other follow-up services such as oncology and radiotherapy. The previous lack of the implementation of the follow-up mammography services were having a huge impact on those other follow-up services. In this way, the return of the mammography greatly enhances the overall status of the cancer care provision at Sligo General Hospital, and the recruitment of 2 additional radiographers to provide this outreach service will hugely complement the tremendous work being currently carried out by the cancer care team at Sligo General, which is the consultant Tim O'Hanlon, the oncology team headed by Mr. Michael Martin, the consultant pathologist Dr. Nessa O'Donnell, and Dr. Clive Kilgallen.
You've already admitted that you made a mistake in giving a 100-day deadline. Now, this is a wonderful production and all the rest of it. It's meaningless, and these people are not happy. You haven't said one thing, not one thing, that satisfies anybody behind me in this room.
We went and voted for John Perry because we put our trust in John Perry. We're going back with what? Crumbs to them people? No way. We want good services and we want you to resign.
By your own admission, you're saying now that in hindsight this would have been very difficult, this 100-day target would have been very difficult to achieve. Given that, you regret making that promise, you accept that it was a promise you shouldn't have made in the heat of the election battle. And what do you say to people who might interpret that as blatant electioneering and using cancer patients as electoral fodder?
To finish Michael's point, you said you would resign on if this was not fully delivered.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. This is the first day, are you resigning? Yes or no?
Jerry, I didn't say that. You quoted that in the Weekender, totally inaccurate. I never stated any given. I never stated. You quoted that in the Weekender last weekend. It is totally inaccurate. I can tell you.
John, you are on the record, right? For 100 days, that them services would go back into Sligo General Hospital. Now you give every excuse here why it hasn't gone back. But you still haven't given any hope to anybody here when we're going to actually see it up and running. Another aspect that I would take kind of a bit of annoyance with it was Barry O'Neill was speaking there, and Barry says all political parties get behind this. And we have preached this Sinn Féin right from day one. Right the time when Fianna Fáil was running this government and running the crop. And Barry O'Neill was there, along with yourself, and Amanda Henry, which I don't see here this evening, and it's turning around and telling us all what was going to come out of this once they got into government. When yourselves now and Labour are in government, and I have no problem with any man missing the target of 100 days, but I expect at least 2/3 of that process put into place by this stage if it is going to be delayed.
I am so happy mad at the way that the cancer people have to suffer and come out and fight for exactly what we're entitled to as people, not second-class citizens.
This is a profoundly disappointing and disturbing day, not only for the North West region and healthcare provision, but for the image and integrity of politicians and the democratic process itself.
Julia, why were you guys brought in for a private meeting with the Minister before he came out to meet the press?
Soften the blow, yeah. Basically that's it. I think we were just there to break the ice and soften us up a little bit so that it wouldn't become so heated.
But it obviously didn't work.
It didn't work, no. I think it only made us worse. We knew what was coming and we were prepared.
Could you see for what it was, a whitewash even before the press conference started?
Yeah. We knew by the silence that, it wasn't good, so...
Were you surprised that the other politicians from the constituency?
I'm very disappointed that John Perry was here on his own. I mean, we canvassed for everybody. And, it's a disgrace. I think that he was hung out to dry on his own here.
Have you a message for those politicians who didn't turn up today?
We're coming after you.